Hey guys, and welcome back to Okami. The story may be done, but in typical X-Gamer Richy fashion, we got a few extras videos for y'all. This first one is going to be focusing on features that can be found in New Game Plus, and also the tomes, which means a lot of us looking at text inputs and such. And Richy described this as a very Richy-like part before we started recording, so good luck, Richy. Good luck, Tom. Good luck to both of us, I think.
Yeah, well, to be more accurate, what I described it as is one of those parts where I go over the whole things that nobody else gives a shit about, but I sort of do. So yes, that's what we're going to be dealing with today. So, New Game Plus in Okami is actually not all that impressive in the grand scheme of things.
Aww.
It's literally just you start from the beginning of the game with all the health that you pick up from leveling up, but you have to recollect the sun fragments.
Okay, that's an interesting way of doing things. That's not typically what happens in New Game Plus. In New Game Plus, you usually keep everything.
Yeah, but you see, it's weird.
Although I should mention that the New Game Pluses I'm talking about tend to be more like action games and not RPGs.
Yeah.
So it would be weird if you had like all the heart pieces in New Game Plus for a Zelda or something. That may have happened in a Zelda I haven't played or I've forgotten. Whatever. It's an extras video. I've done the hard grunt work. Now I can do fuck all.
Although now you have to sit through all of this. So, at the end of the credits, we got the string of beads because we got 100% of all of the... how shall I put it? We got all the stray beads in the game,
yes,
and they form together to create the string of beads. Basically what that does is it gives you limitless ink pots and solar energy, so you can't get hurt and you don't run out of ink. And it increases your attack power tenfold.
Oh, what's going on here?
I'll explain in a second. So the string of beads is incredibly broken, and ultimately is not maybe the best reward ever because it just breaks the game. It just makes it an absolute dot. But it's there, and that's quite fun.
I mean, you've already beaten the final boss at that point, so...
Exactly, like, it's kind of a little bit of a waste because to get it you have to 100% the game. So what purpose does it actually serve other than just making you be able to play through the game again really quickly?
Aww.
So what I'm using right now are the Karmic Transformers. For beating the game you get a couple of them, but then to unlock all of the others you have to get the S rank, effectively, on all of the things that the game tracks you on. So deaths, amount of yen collected, amount of damage, etc, etc, etc. So you can basically transform yourself into any of the Canine Warriors. You can also turn yourself into Stone Army. You can turn yourself into Shiranui. And also, what's most exciting is you can turn yourself into Realistic Army.
Oh, I don't like that. Turn it off.
Because initially with Okami, it was going to have realistic graphics. Something that you will see in a trailer much later on in like part 3 of these extras, because of the original concept trailer for what Okami was going to be. Unfortunately, well, not necessarily unfortunately, because I think we ended up with a better game anyway, but the PS2 just simply was not powerful enough to do that sort of realistic graphic style with Okami and nature at the time.
Mate, it nearly died trying to run Shadow of the Colossus, mate. What do you expect?
Exactly, and to be fair, I think that even like a PS4 would probably cope relatively okay with trying to do a realistic Okami, but even then, I think it would be challenged. So, yes, basically, now all that's done, we're going to go through all the boring stuff of going through all the tomes. I'm just making sure that I have definitely cleared up everything before I go rummaging through, because we're going to look at all the descriptions and stuff.
For a second there, I thought that literally was just like what we were going to do here, but no, we're going to go through each of them individually, carefully, handpicking only the finest text to glance over.
Exactly, because you see, I care about these things.
This realistic, lifelike Abby is very disconcerting. Please take it off.
No, I will not. If only because we're only going to be seeing that for not very much at all during this part. The rest of this part is basically this.
He has his own way of doing things, Tom. Don't get angry. He just likes information. He's a gigantic nerd like that.
Basically, yes. I mean, the other reason is that, obviously, the writers... Hideki Kamiya obviously wrote pretty much the majority of the text in the game. But, so, like, he spent all that time spending so much energy on creating all of this text, it feels sort of only right that we give it the due it deserves.
Well...
rather than just sitting away in nothingness. That's my logic, anyway.
Sorry, you lost me in the void for a second there. My eyes kind of glazed over. My philosophy when it comes to this sort of additional stuff, or extras in games, shall we say, when I do LPs, I very rarely do 100%. Mostly because I'm lazy, you know, I'm not going to make an excuse for that. But also, I feel like, if I'm going to do a Let's Play, I want to encourage people to go out and play the game for themselves. So, in very rare instances, I will allow 100%, mostly through Richy, doing LP recordings, but I like to leave a little something out there for people to find on their own. Because let's face it, there is a contingent, a group of people out there who do just watch Let's Plays instead of playing games. It could be because they can't afford it, it could be because they simply don't want to play the game because they've heard it's crap or whatever. But, you know, I would rather give them something to watch that is exciting rather than this, you know?
But in a way, this sort of stuff can be exciting in its own way because it delves into elements of lore that
I see what you're wanting me to do. You want me to do funny Let's Player voice over these things.
I mean, to be fair, we could very well spend half an hour doing that, but to be fair, I might be flicking through things a little bit too quickly because I was very, very aware of how much stuff there was to try and cram into this part.
Oh, I really wanted to bring Mountain Shroud out, but unfortunately I can read fast, but I can't read that fast. Flame told me that sounds literally almost the same as my regular voice, and I didn't contest that fact, because it's true. I can't voice act at all.
To be fair, I can't really either. There's a couple of voices that I can sort of do. Like, you can sort of do Kermit the Frog.
Okay. Are you going to wow our audience with a little bit of Kermit?
Well, I mean, it's probably going to end disastrously, but I can certainly try to. So, right, let's see.
Don't get stage fright now.
No, see, that's exactly what's happening. So, hello, I'm Kermit the Frog here. And that's...
Start we got better towards the end, so I can hear that.
Yeah, you see, it's because when you're doing impressions of things, you kind of have phrases that you stick to, and they kind of get you into the swing of the voice. So, like, with Wario, it's
Wow.
it's a Wario time.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, thank you. And then, like, so Waluigi's like, Waluigi. That's that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher, a bit more nasally.
Yeah, that's always quite fun.
We're not going to be doing this for the entire part, I hope you guys realise. We're just killing time.
It's always quite fun trying to do Roz from Monsters, Inc., but that always leads to me having a coughing fit.
Hello, Wazowski. That's a fun one, because it rolls in the back of your throat.
Well, yeah, so, I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Damn, man, you want a lozenge or something? Jesus.
Yeah, that's it. It goes really down there. That's always quite fun. Although nowadays I can't do it as well, like as successfully as I used to, because yeah, normally what ends up happening is I go into a massive coughing fit immediately afterwards because it just sort of wrecks stuff in my throat.
I don't blame you, mate. Jesus.
There's also a couple from Avenue Q voices that I can do, which I quite like.
That's not age appropriate for this commentary, so we'll leave it there.
Oh, come off it. The game's a 12 plus. So yeah, so I can just about do Trekkie Monster. So it's... let's see. Oh god, I'm trying to figure out where I put the frickin' roll in my throat.
It's fine. We've gone past the tutorial who's and what's it, and we're on the enemies now, the bestiary.
Yeah, this is true. And to be fair, the bestiary is where it gets quite funny, because this is where you get some really interesting stuff about the enemies. And also it's quite nice that with the scroll, you can actually scroll it. And you can see all the different enemies. I think that the scroll will just keep scrolling and it will show eventually all the enemies on it. Which is just a really quite nice and effective thing. Because obviously the whole thing of these menus is that they are meant to look like actual pieces of Japanese art.
Oh, I just noticed, like on the left or right hand side, yeah, it just scrolls. That's interesting.
So you can see the other enemies in these pieces of artwork, and it's just really fascinating, and I love it.
I think my favourite part of these is the text isn't given just as a standard, this is a thing, he does a thing, to kill him you need to do this thing. It sort of paraphrases that, but it's written as if it was just a guy writing about the enemies from that perspective.
Exactly, I mean this is well and truly a bestiary. So it's describing what the enemy is, what it's like as a creature, but then also giving you some slight idea of how to beat it, mostly by, whenever you see the red text, that's your cue to the hint of how to defeat them.
Yeah.
That's just really quite nice. It's always just a nice little touch. And also, rapscallion.
Seriously?
Love that word.
Not here, not knocking on my door. Give me back my head or I'll take yours instead.
Some of these enemies are actually well and truly awful and terrifying.
Yeah, we're getting into creepypasta stuff here. Although, to be fair, that's what, you know, ancient ghost stories are like. They are basically the original creepypastas.
I mean, considering when you look at a lot of Japanese demons and ghosts and stuff, there's some twisted stuff in there. Like, it's ridiculous how twisted it gets. I mean, obviously you guys have watched probably most of the playthrough at this point, so you will have seen and heard how crazy these things can get.
Oh, is that the water dragon?
I believe that is indeed the water dragon running underneath it all, and obviously that's because we find the guardians in the Ryushima Coast area where the water dragon resided.
Ah, of course, makes sense. So, while we're scrolling through this, do you have like I would say a list of the enemies you enjoyed fighting and the ones you least enjoyed fighting?
So I would say that the imps, guardians, Namahage, clay soldiers are always pretty entertaining to fight. They're very simple. I don't like the yellow variant, so the bucket Namahage, the bell guardian, and the yellow imp, and I can't remember what the name of the clay soldier variant is. But I don't like them in particular because obviously they dig into the ground and then you have to wait for them to pop up again, and it's whether you're going to be able to hurt them or not. Whereas all of the other enemies in the game, well, all of the other imp variants, very easy to take down. You've just got to do like one hit in some form, whether that's using wind or power slashing them or what have you, before they become vulnerable. So they're always a delight, bar the yellow variants. I do quite enjoy taking on the Dogus.
Oh yeah.
I think because they're quite big, there's something quite fun about them, because you feel like you're being really successful at taking on a larger enemy than you would normally face, because pretty much most of the enemies in the game are actually relatively small.
Yeah, like, relative to Army, they're
roughly human-sized, really.
A wee bit bigger, yeah.
Whereas the Dogus are like giants in comparison. And I think actually they are probably the biggest enemies outside of the Great Tengu, Blue Cyclops.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cyclopses.
And the Red and Blue Ogres / the Spider Bull. So yeah, like the Dogus. I'm trying to think what other enemies. We'll see them as we go along here. I'm not overly fussed by the mirror enemies and the wheels. They're just a little bit plain, to be fair. But they're a nice introduction to like proper elemental attacks and how to use them.
They're tutorial enemies. You know, they get a pass, really.
Exactly. I suppose in terms of enemies I dislike, the tube foxes are probably relatively high up there, because when you're facing down a lot of them and they're sapping your ink, they just become tedious to take down.
Mm-hmm. They're the ones we fought inside the sea water dragon's belly, yeah.
Yes. They're just a bit of a pain, and I'd say I'm also not overly fond of the Crotangus and the Abumes, because even though I know how to kind of break down their guard, sometimes it doesn't necessarily always work how I expect it to, and so I just end up kind of flailing in terms of my brush techniques against them, just going, just freaking die already, please.
Well, you see, the solution there is to get good, so...
Well, yes, this is true. This is true pretty much everything. I mean, Tom, you were telling me to get good the other day on a game that I've never played before.
Yeah, that was kind of shitty of me, now that I think about it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like, got a new game, very excited about it, because it will, hopefully, maybe will be, a playthrough next year. Just because I needed to test out my setup.
I didn't realise it was your first go at it. Cut me some slack.
Yeah! So, like, I wanted to test my setup to make sure that I could actually record it, because it's a setup that I've never had to use before, but it's a good job I have it now. And I was just excited because it was like, oh my god, Tom, look! And he was just like, yeah, you're going to have to get better if you do this actually. And I'm just like...
Wow.
No shit.
I really am an asshole, goddamn.
You see, and this is why I'm making you suffer through this.
I enjoy it, mate. This is relaxation central for me.
It's true, I suppose, after a few days of Sony-thon shenanigans in planning, it's just nice to just kick back and chill while we blather over me slowly going over pieces of information.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're getting to the bosses soon, I think, because I saw Orochi in the bottom right corner of the page.
Yes, he is coming, as frickin' usual, because we can't frickin' get rid of Orochi. He's just there, forever and ever and ever.
I love how offended the Thunderdoom mirror looks. It's like, really? You had to go and put me down in this bestiary. I never gave consent for that.
The other thing that I quite like about the bestiary is that what is sort of implied with the scroll is that these are actually Isun's drawings and his artwork of these enemies.
Aww.
Because obviously you only get the entry after you've faced one down. and because they're all in this sort of style, and ultimately, if you made sure to stay to the end of the credits and saw the stinger, then you will have seen that it's Isun telling the story of Army many years later.
Aww.
I mean, I have the feeling it's probably when he's about Ishaku's age, to be fair. But I could be wrong on that, and I have no idea. We will never know, because Capcom will really frustratingly never let they might let Hideki Kamiya do an Okami 2. I would love that to happen, but we will never see a proper Okami 2 at present moment, as far as I can tell.
Well, where and when would it take place?
Well, it would take place immediately after the end of Okami, with Army heading off to the Celestial Plane, so it would take place in the Celestial Planes.
Oh, yeah.
And follow Army taking it back from the forces of evil there.
Would you like it to be more fantastical than Okami? Like a bit of El Shaddai, or whatever that really angelic-looking game was called?
Oh yeah, El Shaddai, the Ascension of Metatron or something along those lines. That was, I think, had one of the same art directors as Okami.
Nice.
But obviously gameplay-wise it looked a little bit messy, which is why I avoided it like the plague.
Oh, it wasn't a Orochi, it was the Crimson Helm. I'm sorry. He's got Orochi's head, I think.
He does indeed, yes.
I like the Crimson Helm. That whole dungeon, like, leading up to him was fun as fuck as well. At least to watch. I've never played the game, of course.
It's definitely a fun dungeon, definitely. Completely forgot what I was talking about now. It's the curse of the Crimson Helm. He just sort of turns up and completely sidetracks you.
Something about Okami 2?
Yeah, I really want Okami 2. Capcom, make it happen, goddamn you.
Okay. I'm the blue ogre. I'm like the red ogre, but I'm blue.
Yeah. Just gotta remember, ogres have layers.
To think we could have gone throughout the entire playthrough without a Shrek reference.
Well, Tom, I'm a believer after all.
You know what, we're almost done. I no longer give a fuck. I'm phoning this part in, I don't care. I'm not doing a retake. The good old Spider Queen, of which they recycled it many times.
Many times. But yeah, actually this is something that we can talk about. So obviously, I have mentioned previously about Capcom being arseholes and cutting the credits from the Wii version. Which, I mean, is already a sin against humanity, because Reset, which is the song that plays throughout the credits, is beautiful and makes so much sense considering you've had Reset Thank You version in the cutscene earlier on. It's just a perfect way of rounding out the game. But obviously for the Wii version, because that was a video file, it wasn't real-time footage, they couldn't remove Clover's logo. So they just completely cut it. They also completely cut the stinger. So the bit which is Isun telling you, have you guessed who is telling the story yet? I'm going to close the book on this chapter, call it Army's Amazing Adventures or whatever it was, and see you next time. That's completely gone. It just goes straight from the end of the boss to the results screen.
That's really shitty.
It's disgusting. Like, really disgusting. And, I mean, I get why they did it, and I'm glad that they restored the credits and the stinger for the HD re-release, which is really good, because, I mean, I'm sorry, but that would have been even more appalling if they'd excluded it from that. But the annoying thing about the PS3 credits is that they don't have Reset in them. It's just a actually really shoddy medley of songs from Okami. And it just doesn't have the same magic. It was something that when I reached the end of Okamiden also rather narked me, because that too ended on... Well, its credits were a medley of songs throughout the game, but it was a really disjointed medley.
Oh, they're the worst.
It's just like, come off it. If you're going to do a medley, like, make it properly flow into each other. But no, it just... You see, it's... Another example is with Kingdom Hearts. So, obviously, in Kingdom Hearts 1, you went from Simple and Clean and so on and so forth into March Caprice, which is a beautiful piece of music. And Kingdom Hearts 2, you have Fantasia Alamasia, another fantastically beautiful piece of music. But then in the likes of Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance and so on and so forth, you just have medleys of the songs from the worlds.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah.
And it just doesn't have the same impact. A medley can work, because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Super Mario Galaxy, from Super Mario Galaxy, is a medley of sorts, but that weaves everything together into one contained song, and so it is at once its own beast, but it is an accumulation of all the other pieces. So, yeah, I just find it really disappointing that they couldn't work harder to get the rights to use resets for the PS3 version, because it just... There's a reason they used that in the first place, and just could it just sort of saps those credits of some of their emotional resonance, which I just find really disappointing.
Yeah, you don't bitching about it, no?
Yes, I'm done bitching about it, because there's nothing I can do about it, it's happened. And that's life, that's what all the people say.
We're on the Canine Warriors now. Pretty fancy for, you know, the fact that they're just dogs at the end of the day.
I know that they are surprisingly decent, and these are surprisingly in-depth. Well, they're not necessarily in-depth, but they go more deeply into what they mean. So you've got, like, the cheese stands for knowledge. So if you weren't listening to me when we were first talking about the Canine Warriors and I was explaining all of that, this is how you'd find that out.
Very nearly the end of the bestiary here, but oh, the text on screen shenanigans don't end there, viewers, but don't worry. We're less than 10 minutes away from the end of this part now. The next one is much shorter.
Yes, from this point onwards, it's all shorter parts, and all, I'd say perhaps a bit more interesting. It depends on your perspective, because the next part is mostly going to be artwork.
Well, I'm fine with that.
The part after that is mostly going to be videos and trailers and stuff that are included in the game, which is quite fun.
That one I'm hyped for.
But obviously we will get to those in due course, because that's still like 18 minutes of artwork and 30 minutes of videos, so gotta just roll with these things, you know?
I like Letchgo's design better, but in this artwork, Letchgo is definitely more dapper, I think.
Yes, I agree, but Letchgo all the way representing.
Indeed. And finally, we have just a bunch of big blitzballs. This one's on fire.
Yes, so if you wanted to know where I got the text that I was using throughout the fight with the army, this is it. This is where that text comes from. And obviously, you can't get this until you enter New Game Plus, because you won't have beaten Yami yet by that point. So that is your only way of getting a full bestiary, and I'm just like, hey, get in there.
Nope, nothing over there. Stop scrolling.
Well, I wanted to see how far it would scroll.
It's the abyss,
It disappointed me. I mean, I think that if you scroll one way, then you will get to see all of the forms turn up in one scroll, but I don't know, it was either being weird on me or what have you. The Wii version is full of loads of glitches.
Well, yeah, we've seen how Yami looks during the final battle.
Yeah, you may have also noticed bits where Army's howl was out of sync with the animation.
Yes, I did. I actually thought the video was glitched when I was editing.
Yeah, no, that's actually the game being a glitchy sod.
Oh, and we end on a floor master.
I know, but what a damn good design, eh?
What a damn good father boss, mate. Although I've already gushed about this, so I won't repeat myself.
But yeah, it's glorious. And obviously, really annoyingly, because we're starting New Game Plus, none of the animals have been fed. So I'm sitting on 0%, but obviously you all saw that I got 100% of everything, so it's all fine.
That is a likely story, my friend.
Come on, you saw it when we fed that last dog, and I was just like, oh my god, I fed all the animals, super proud of myself.
I hope you're not expecting in-depth commentary for essentially random wildlife.
Of course I'm expecting in-depth commentary on random wildlife, Tom. Like, we need to know what your opinions are on the bouncing foxes.
Well, I can give a yes or no if you want. I'm not going to say what the yes or no means. Horse, yes. Cat, definitely yes. Cow, can go either way, really. Bear, yes. Or actually, no. Bear, no. His face terrifies me. Sheep, yes. Again, I'm not giving it any context. Crane, voiced by David Cross, yes. Sorry, did I catch you off guard with that one?
Little bit, yes. So, here are all of the fishes! I don't think I'm going to go through all of their text because... no. Just no. I'm scrolling through these as quickly as is humanly possible because, one, I spent so long fishing for the damn things.
Oh, God almighty.
That it was just like, that was painful. Particularly because some fish only turn up at night and some only turn up in the day. And obviously because the day-night cycle continually scrolls through, you could be very close to the end of the day, trying to catch a day fish, and then all of a sudden, hey, it's night time. You're just like, I've got to come out, make it day, go back in. It's just a nightmare.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're scrolling through fish. Jesus.
You asked for an Okami playthrough, Tom. You got one.
True, true. Whoa, that is a whopper. Goddamn.
Well, yeah, you bloody ate the moon. You'd hope he'd be bloody big. But yeah, those were our 3 boss fish, and then obviously everything else after that sort of pales in comparison, other than I think maybe the King Marlin.
There's Nemo. We found him.
Yes. Oh yeah, we've still got that one game to do. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, yes, I just remember what you're talking about. We will have to talk playthroughs after this, by the way, because there may be an open slot, like, late August to September that needs filling.
Okay. You'll have to explain more.
Well, it's very hard to give hints without giving the game away during live commentary, mate.
I know, but you'll have to explain more to me of why the slot's opening up, because that's made me go, oh god. Yeah, you ain't getting any more recordings out of me at the minute, because I'm in the middle of recording a Tale Sonata.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Lobster. Powerful, bold, majestic king of the oceans. Don't think I've ever had tuna. I love salmon, though. We actually have salmon in our house on Christmas Day. Like, salmon on, like, a nice cracker with a bit of cream cheese.
Yep, now, do not like salmon. Tuna, there was a time when I liked tuna. I'm now okay with it, but not overly fond. I'm very much more of, I think, a cod and haddock kind of guy.
Well, you mean the two fish that are most commonly found in fish and chips?
Basically, yeah. Give me a good fish cake, I am happy. Give me a good fish finger, I am happy.
Lewd.
Give me a slab of fish with skin on, oh god no, I don't like you anymore.
Whoever mentioned that? Is this going back to the salmon?
Effectively, yeah.
Well, you can have skinned salmon, you know, it's just like nice and peachy coloured.
Even then, I've tried salmon, and yeah, no, I do not like it.
I don't get that at all. People, please chime in for the love of God in the comments about what your favourite fish to eat is. The content next time will be better. I promise you. I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to turn out this way.
You see, it's all part of my ploy to take over HellfireComms.
What, bore me to death?
Yeah.
It's not working because I enjoy shiny things.
Oh god damn it.
They're just recolours, really.
Yeah, they are basically just recolours. But hey, the game's so stuffed with stuff that really you can't blame them for making a little bit of well, easing the processing on the console a little bit, because otherwise I think it might freak out at all the stuff that was shoved in it.
Yeah, I'm not expecting, like, you know, individual detailed designs on all these things. There's enough, you know, distinct treasures to go around, and is that it? Are we done?
I believe that is basically it. I thought I was gonna, like, go fully through all of the move things, but no. There's no need.
We made it through the worst of it, boys and girls. So, take a deep breath, and we'll see you next time when the Okami extras continue. Bye-bye for now. Oh god, that thing is scary.